Let's go into picks and bans for game 2. Kingdom still looking for their first win. Now 0-13. Most Wanted will be first pick, first ban one more time. And from their point of view, I don't think they're going to change much.
It doesn't seem like Most Wanted need to change anything currently. They're playing like a very top-tier team currently, with winning that game in 28 minutes time, being able to be all over the map. Despite they made a few slip-ups which they could easily clean up, but regardless, mechanically and team-wise, against Kingdom Esports, they've been playing very well.
And once again, Al Kwang banned out by Most Wanted. I'm trying to work out what else they banned to go with it. Kabrakan it was last time round. Kingdom going to take out Guan Yu. And back to Most Wanted again and see if it is going to be that Kabrakan one more time from them.
They could have liked to first pick it this time around. Wolves has been known to play the Kabrakan. He's had a lot of good games with him, specifically in the mid to late game. Every time he plays this Kabrakan, he usually tends to be a good zoning factor with his tremors.
Interesting there. They ban Raijin this time, expecting Kingdom to take that one away, because they first picked Susano last time, and it forces Kingdom to actually do that Kabrakan ban instead, which allows Athena available, which Kingdom banned last time, or we could see Susano one more time for xCynosurex in the jungle.
A lot of respect coming out of Kingdom, banning away the Kabrakan from Wolves, and now to respond to this, Most Wanted gonna first pick that Athena.
Now Athena over in the support role for Koiz here can solo, especially with the Vanguard now, but doesn't have the best matchup against everybody, but pretty good matchups for the most part. Good mobility with a teleport and her ultimate to get to those fights across the map.
And more importantly, Athena synergizes the best in the 3v3 position currently. Once the early mid-game happens, you have your support constantly rotating around. The dash taunt is the easiest setup in the world to allow your mid laner to follow up, especially if it's a Scylla.
Well, those taunts are going to be very important against Kingdom's lineup here. Janus and Susano, both high mobility around the map, and a lot of damage coming out from those two as well. A little bit safer on the side of Kingdom this time around.
A lot of pressure coming out of Most Wanted as well. Double global currently, really good setup as well. The Athena can find the dash taunt, the Thor can find the long distance tectonic rift. He could be the initiator or following up off of the Athena. And following up off of those two CCs is going to be a high burst Zeus.
High burst Zeus, good area of control as well. I wouldn't mind seeing him pick up a Neef just to really solidify this whole going for a target, guarantee the kill. But Ravana gets locked in for Kingdom this time around before the counterban phase.
It's a really good idea if you're trying to take advantage of any lane that you have a very hyper-aggressive bully in the solo lane position, going to take the Ravana and going to ban away the very safe pick in the solo lane position, the Tier.
Yeah, Niqued, I believe, or is Niqued. I'm not sure exactly how you say his name in the solo lane, but he looked the best on Kingdom during that last set. On the Tier, did very, very good things with it. I'm interested to see how he does in the Ravana. And against Wolves, of all things, as well. He found that first kill and still made an impact in this game, even though he was down on levels.
And that's something that Kingdom might have to try to exploit potentially in this second game. Maybe find more pressure in the solo lane this time around. Now, Odin has been banned from Kingdom, so they're not going to be able to get locked out of that cage every time they do gank the solo lane position. So maybe that's going to be a strategy from Kingdom.
Maybe. I mean, with Wolves, he could play pretty much anything there, but you can see the focus from Most Wanted here. Their bans going their way onto Guardians. Sobek and Bacchus not available for Kingdom to look at now. So Kepri is still up, though, and they're going to go actually for the Geb this time around.
Going to be able to try to cleanse out these taunts and the stuns from the Thor, not allowing any follow-up damage from the Zeus. It's a very passive style with the Geb in the duo position, but then it's a very aggressive opening from the solo position. So it seems like Kingdom is going to be kind of slow in the Hunter, but then going to be very quick in the solo.
I think Kingdom may even look for a Neef in the Hunter role here, just so they've got something to clear the wave effectively in this stage of the game as well. I mean, obviously with the Geb, not the greatest wave clear on the side of Geb either. He's more there off the late game. Very important for Reader to be positioning very well, not getting hit by those taunts, so he can get those shields off in the first place.
Exactly. Really good Geb players are going to make sure that they separate themselves away from the primary target of the Athena dash taunt. And to respond to this, Most Wanted are going to pick a very safe solo laner still with the Vamana, can allow the wave to enter the tower in the earlier stages of the game, still be able to clear the archers effectively, and then once the Umbrella rank hits about level 4, he can be clearing the wave in one go.
It looks like a very old school composition from Most Wanted there. Those gods have been around for a very long time. Meanwhile, Kingdom Esports with the Janus Susano, all relatively new, but they will go back to roots with an Anhur pickup here. Anhur strong in the lane as well against Chronos. How's that matchup?
As long as you can find the CC on the Chronos, not allowing him to get off the rewind, you can easily find the kill. Anhur does a lot of bursts early on, and as long as the Geb has a lot of CC as well, you can force the purification early on the Chronos, and then you look for the second kill once your cooldowns reach reset.
Well, into game, I'm just going to keep an eye on the wall placements here, and it's Advantage Kingdom at the moment there. Back to base, we did manage to see TsmaII get away from potentially getting himself in a bit of trouble there, but those wards will give him very good vision around these mid-harpies just to see if anyone of them taken at the beginning.
Just afraid of Most Wanted's aggression in the early game, which is surprising because if you look at Kingdom Esports lineup, they have a Ravana and a Susano between the solo and the jungle, which is very hyper-aggressive, and it could be either, it might be an invade coming out of Kingdom.
You expect that's going to be the case?
If you're in this position, it doesn't really hurt you to try out these kinds of strategies because you're already 0-13 in the league. You don't really have nothing more else to lose. You're down 0-1 in this set, and your 2v2 is slightly better than this Thor and Vamana.
So tell me this one thing, right? Because I see Wolves doing this in the solo lane now. He's not picked his relic, which is probably going to be teleport. How often does this end up working out where you don't end up having to go teleport? It's not that often, surely.
Not at all. It's about like 95% that you always pick up the teleport, even if you don't pick it up right away from the fountain at level 1.
Yeah.
But you just never know. Like, you might be able to safely transition out of the solo lane, so you might be able to pick up something else if you can rotate to those team fights.
You're just hoping for that benefit, really. If the game goes your way, you don't have to get that relic straight away. Maybe invest it into a meditate or something crazy like a shell, even sprint.
It keeps your opponent on their toes as well because they see an empty relic slot. They're like, okay, well, more than likely it's going to be teleport until that one game that it's not teleport and you get meditation baited because you haven't checked the tab screen.
On Niqued on that Ravana. Going to be a little bit later to the lane than the Vamana here, and Vamana going to get a little bit of early wave clear for Wolves. Good poke coming out from Niqued, but with a full minion wave there. Got to respect that a little bit. However, he does have Vanguard, so he can soak a lot of that pressure, but it means he's not going to get as much damage off.
And that's exactly why he arrived to the lane a little bit later than this Vamana-Thor combination. And with that, the dual lane, like we mentioned, is going to be a little bit slower than the side of Most Wanted, already being pushed under their own tower.
Well, mid lane, you can see Soulstone and Bomber's Mask. So power pots for both of the mid and jungle compositions from both teams here. Advantage at the moment in Kingdom's favor. They're going to go to their back harpies just a little bit earlier than that of Most Wanted.
Most Wanted could do the same strategy that they did the first game where they zone Kingdom to go back into the mid lane, but instead going to be able to push out the mid wave before Kingdom comes back. And if they wanted to, they could potentially invade the back left harpies out of Kingdom or go for their own.
Well, at the moment, pressure on Most Wanted is dual lane as well in their favor. Athena doing good work with the Chronos so far to keep Anhur and Geb at bay. It's just the superior wave clear Koiz has on this Athena over the Geb.
So what the Athena tried to do was, after she dashed the wave, she tried to throw out the reach onto the Anhur to allow all the melee minions to group up to the Athena. Wolves taking a lot of poke in this solo lane.
Really going very, very deep for that. You can see he's using burning through those potions he's got in his inventory. 2 health and 1 multi left. Actually, no, 1 and 1 right now. Wolves is using a lot to try and invest into Ravana, and Ravana still perfectly healthy.
Because of the Mark of the Vanguard not taking too much damage, the Bluestone Pennant is going to get mitigated quite heavily by that Mark of the Vanguard. So the Vamana's just going to elect to use his abilities to clear the wave instead of focusing out the Ravana.
Also mid lane there, Catalyyyst on the Janus. Did rotate looking towards the left-hand side here with the support of TsmaII on that Susano, but they weren't able to find anything as aggression still going on in the solo lane. I should expect the general jockeying between the two.
And it's going to favor the Ravana in the early stages of the game until the Vamana can fully clear that wave with 1 Umbrella Ring and then consistently look for that poke. And in the mid lane, xCynosurex just doing a good job being aggressive, looking for the long-range stun.
Well, xCynosurex, he is on that Thor again. Last time we saw it, he didn't really go aggressive on it as much as I would have liked to have seen. Didn't really initiate with things, but this time around, maybe a different story this game. Just keep an eye on him, because as a jungler, you want to be ever-present on the map, showing presence and be a worry for the enemy team to have to deal with.
And the beauty about the Thor is you have a lot of options. He could have ganked the solo lane, but instead he's going to like to gank the mid lane. Going to find the stun, going to synergize with the Zeus, doing a lot of damage. Even if that ultimate from Catalyyyst went off, the charges from the Zeus were already there, and the detonate would have done a lot of damage.
A little bit unfortunate there. I believe Anhur may have a few issues, but that gank in mid lane, Clow preemptively used the ultimate even before Thor had landed down there. Already started dealing damage, and just lack of response time from Catalyyyst there to be able to pick up the kill, to react in time, caused him a lot of problems.
And that's what you have to do. You have to trust your jungler to be able to hit that ultimate, and you follow up instantly. If you're Ra, for example, you have to already be able to line up your ultimate instantly before the Thor even lands down. So you get off the damage, you get a little bit closer with the passive of your movement speed, and you follow up with a searing pain, just more damage.
Yeah, if you can just find more damage over the top, it'll be even more useful for them as well. But good work coming out from them. Respect from Most Wanted there as well. You did see there was a few issues with the Anhur, and they didn't kill him, which was nice. These did the minions.
Really good sportsmanship coming out of Most Wanted, just respecting the fact that, you know, the last game, Despair had a little bit of issues in this game as well, just electing to have that respect.
have the respect for now. Well, xCynosurex did get that gank off in the mid lane, which was important for him. However, looks like Cloud's going to get ulted by Athena here just for the extra pressure from Koiz coming over to make sure they steal away this blue buff and keep the pressure on Kingdom as per usual.
So utilizing that Athena ultimate, not just for defensive capabilities, but offensive invade is very interesting to see. Really good pressure out of Most Wanted, transitioning off of that first blood, taking away the blue buff is going to allow the Vamana to control the wave a little bit more in the soul lane, and now that's going to also allow the Thor to have a lot of presence. After all these buff camps are gone on the side of Kingdom, Most Wanted can go grab their own.
Full presence in the mid lane for Kingdom. Not going to find the taunt though, because immediately Susano jumps away there. Good play from TsmaII to recognize that one. Hunter position though on the side of Kingdom here. We're going to see Despair going for the Transcendent start on the Anhur here, looking for the real big late game as the red buff getting invaded by Most Wanted.
So many buffs being taken away from Kingdom. They stole the speed, the blue, and now transitioning to the red. And they have their own buffs to take afterwards. So after this mid wave is clear, more than likely Most Wanted, they're just going to play very safe and grab their own buffs. They're going to transition this lead very heavily with only one kill currently.
It's very difficult actually with Kingdom here because yes, they have the Janus that can ultimate to the lanes and potentially find a pick, but the response time from Most Wanted, they're going to have a Thor and that Athena that can come across the map at any given moment and turn it around. Solo lane, Wolves forced to ult, going aggressive now, looking for extra pressure there onto Ravana. Not going to find any though, but he does give him a nice chunk of health.
We talk about Most Wanted's aggression and being able to steal these buffs away from Kingdom, and we also talk about the fact that Kingdom, they haven't been able to respond with any buff invades of their own, and that would have been potentially a time to start stealing the speed and the blue. The Zeus did go into the left side jungle and backed on the left side mid harpies. Meanwhile, Vamana going to find a solo kill onto the tower.
That Umbrella Rang was perfectly placed, did get the knock up as well to confirm it for the double tap coming back, just positioned himself nicely. Just a little bit of lack of respect for the Vamana that just started to clear the wave in full, as you were mentioning. That's when the lane changes.
Beautiful engage under the mid lane, going to use the Zeus ultimate, finding an easy kill onto Reacher. There was nowhere for him to go. The Tectonic Rift disabled him from moving forward on the tower, and with the Mad Koiz dash taunt allows more damage onto the Zeus.
And xCynosurex going aggressive there, looking for the double tap on Catalyyyst. Going to get pulled, but Clow steps in to save his teammate, and in the end, it's Catalyyyst that pays the price. Still going aggressive though with the Tornado. Great Impale comes out from Despair, can confirm with the Desert Fury as well to make sure they get their first kill on the board for Kingdom Esports.
Great rotation from Despair, and it just doesn't seem that Kingdom Esports are respecting the damage out of this early game Zeus. He did have the red buff invade from earlier on, and with not any sanctuaries currently at this stage of the game, you have to make sure that you do not get chain lining off of that shield. You have to be very calculating about whether or not you want to play aggressive.
We're looking at about just over 2,000 gold lead here for Most Wanted Esports at 6 minutes in. My apologies, 2.5k gold lead. 3,500 experience as well at 6 minutes. It's not something you can overlook at this stage.
No, it's 6.5 minutes. That's a very short time for such a high lead currently. That's without a Gold Fury. That's only 4 kills and 3 buff invades. And more than likely, there's going to be more buff invades. Currently, blue buff is respawning, and Wolves is very hungry for this.
They need to try and get some wards down in that jungle to see the rotations. Talk about rotations. You can see Koiz coming all the way over here for the blue buff yet again. I think he thinks this is his blue buff, Matt Koiz, right now.
It's very possible that you would give it to the Athena with Wolves already having the blue buff, unless you just want to extend the lifetime onto Wolves to be more dominant into this solo laning phase. Already up a level currently against this Ravana.
But you can see how confident Most Wanted are. I mean, they're using Athena ults just to secure buffs, just to put pressure on the map. They're not using it defensively or even for like big plays like Gold Furies. It's a blue buff that they're invading there.
And Kingdom should take advantage of that by ganking the dual lane Chronos that's left alone and isolated. It's very easy when you don't have the Athena ultimate to protect him.
And when you look at Reacher there on that Hunter on Anhur, I mean, getting him a bit further ahead now. He's already picked up the first kill of the game for Kingdom. If they could just keep snowballing him a little bit, he could be a powerhouse in the mid stages, which is exactly what Anhur wants to be.
And Most Wanted doing the same exact thing off of the earlier cycle. They weren't able to steal speed, but now they're contesting red after stealing the own blue, looking for a lot of damage onto Reacher.
They're looking for Reacher, but TsmaII goes in and does find Cloud with a great big burst of damage. Zeus forced to ult the Impale, actually going to knock him back into TsmaII, but TsmaII didn't recognize it. He does now. Desert Fury from Despair secures it, and now Koiz surrounded too, has to dash away to safety. Good stun over the wall from Transonics. They're going to slow them down a little bit, but TsmaII wants more.
He has the speed buff available. Nice stun onto the Chronos, forcing out out that purification. xCynosurex might be in a little bit of trouble. He's caught under 3 members, going to get pulled in, going to miss the knockup, unfortunately, and the hammer away. However, TsmaII is in a great position to clean this up.
TsmaII played that very well. I will say him and Despair combined nicely as they put the pressure back on. Now they could look for the goal fury without Kingdom if they recognize this one, but instead they're still trying to deal with Transonics, who gets the stun, doesn't find the follow-up though with the time stop, and now pressure onto him again, going to force Koiz to ult from base back to keep his Hunter alive.
Favoring Kingdom Esports in that little encounter, even though the red buff was stolen, Transonics was able to pick that up. Kingdom was able to find 2 kills onto Most Wanted. However, they haven't really found a response after these 2 kills. They're getting pressured under the dual lane, and now Despair is forced to run away and forced to use the purification.
Not going to find any more damage. Rewind from Transonics, going to bring him back into tower range, and he will take aggro, but he's back to safety again. Follow up now as he gets pulled in by TsmaII on that Susano, but Susano so low on mana, and that's a Geb. Geb's not going to really stop you at only level 8 at this stage of the game.
No, not having his ultimate as well, so not going to find the kill. Rotation from Koiz as well as Clow underneath, but Clow not in a position to really follow up off of that taunt.
Gets a little bit of damage off of the chain lining, not enough to secure a kill. Will detonate though. Susano already going to be heading back to base anyway with that little amount of mana he's got available to him. 4-3 heading into the 10-minute mark now. Gold lead still the same, still in favor of Most Wanted, same for the experience.
We saw the experience per minute graph earlier on the left-hand side where the Vamana has currently 740 just toppling over everybody currently with these constant speed and blue buff invades. There's just not much that the Ravana can currently get.
But I do like what I see from Kingdom there. You saw it on the left-hand side of the map. They're starting to ward up their own jungle to keep an eye for the invades, and now they're going to secure their own speed buff because of it. Wolves still going aggressive on his own here. Athena ult is down. We know that from earlier, but there is a Thor hanging around that could get involved, and Wolves forced to ultimate here, still looking for aggression, waiting for his team to show up, and in the end, the ult's for nothing, but he may be able to get that blue.
He's just being able to keep the rest of Kingdom Esports very busy. That could potentially leave the Gold Fury open. However, the duo side, the Chronos is in a little bit of trouble with the rotation from the Susano and the Anhur.
TsmaII doing work there, and Transonics doesn't really know what to do, but he's duking out nicely and puts TsmaII in an awkward position, but he doesn't recognize that round the back was Despair, and a good Desert Fury will stop the stun coming out from Transonics. Transonics gets picked up for a free kill.
He's just a little bit too overextended with Transonics. There wasn't really much to do in that position except for maybe invade the boards. Meanwhile, we're going to have a rotation onto Nick, forced to use his ultimate defensively under the tier 2 tower, and not many cooldowns used for that ultimate on the side of Most Wanted. Beautiful play.
So just a free pickup for Kingdom here, playing a little bit better this game, finding some picks a little bit more often. Whether it's Most Wanted, just over-aggressive. Now, what I say it's more down to the ward placements coming out from Kingdom now. They're getting a bit more wards defensively in their own jungle. They're spotting these rotations of people being open and over-aggressive, and by that, they're finding picks.
And it's very difficult to try to find those wards early on when you are behind gold. So a very smart economic investment by Kingdom, making sure that they look for these kinds of plays. And Wolves going to try to find a kill under the tier 1 tower. Still has meditation available.
And he's got xCynosurex coming in on the Thor too. Out of mana is the Ravana as well. Did just use the overhead kick. The ultimate was still on cooldown, so it was a free pick. Where's the response, however? It looks like Kingdom maybe looking at this Gold Fury, and response is a no Thor is on the other side of the map.
Janus' ultimate was used trying to position himself closer to that Gold Fury, so Kingdom going to force this, and only the Athena currently is in position, and it looks like Kingdom did secure the Gold Fury, so a good response after losing their soul laner and the tower.
And that helps them out a little bit in terms of gold, but with the tower falling, it just evens things up one more time, I want to say. It's a bit of a gold drop, but it's not much.
But the most important thing about that whole interaction was the fact that Most Wanted don't get the Gold Fury to extend their lead even further. It was inevitable to eventually lose that tier 1 tower in the soul lane, especially with his Vamana currently being as far ahead as he currently is, even if you leave both of those soul laners alone. So the fact that there was a lot of pressure in the soul lane, and Kingdom responds with a Gold Fury, keeps them in the game for now.
Well, you mentioned the tier 1 tower fall on the right-hand side. It looks like the left one will too soon. Koiz going to go in and look for the taunt on Small and find it, actually, and that'll be enough for the kill there. Koiz gets credit for it, and the tower should fall soon after. Even though Anhur has returned here, tower did still fall. Most Wanted to find a pick at the tower.
Most Wanted showing why this Athena is such a valuable first pick in the draft stages. Being able to just dash taunt under the tier 1 tower, setting up a Zeus. It doesn't matter what mid laner that is. It could be a Zeus, it could be a Scylla. It really doesn't matter.
But there were thoughts about Cabrakan. I mean, they were more scared of Cabrakan here, Kingdom, than they were of the Athena, but still, Koiz making an impact on this is now in the jungle is Thor at the moment, going aggressive against Ravana. Nothing available for him to take at the moment as the speed buff does now spawn, but he only knocked to half health. He does have the support of Koiz and Athena coming in, however, so they may still look to contest.
And this is the position where you're leaning on your Athena to initiate for you, and the Thor is going to play in the backhand side, just going to throw out his hammer for the double tap, and still the rest of Most Wanted was able to get that speed buff without the help of the Thor.
Well, Wolves forced to ult, and Koiz going to taunt one, and in the sky is Thor, but it's Clow under pressure here, and he's not getting any help right now. Inside the Tornado's eye he is, as a good Cataclysm comes off as well from Reacher there, and still Clow is alive, however, and still alive as the Desert Fury through the wall from Despair will secure the kill finally, but maybe this could be an opportunity for Kingdom.
Despair making such great rotations, always able to find the kill. Mad Koiz falling as well, so that's a 2-for-0 currently. A lot of aggressiveness and overextension by Most Wanted. Despair jumping over the wall. A lot of damage from Sinistcha, finding the double tap onto Catalyyyst.
They're all running away from Sinistcha here, who's
the body blocks are real!
Into a wall and will go down, but he shouldn't have had the opportunity to pick up Catalyyyst there on the Janus anyway. The whole team could have turned on him. Instead, it does trade out in favor. 3 members of the side of Most Wanted die, just the one on the side of Kingdom.
Beautiful mechanics out of Kingdom Esports for that last kill onto the Thor, utilizing that Anhur obelisk as well as just positioning your own character to not allow the Thor any sort of wiggle room, and without the hammer for the escape, that was a free kill.
Well, 14 minutes in and we've got 14 kills in this game, and it still is anyone's. Most Wanted do have the advantage in terms of golden experience, but with the next goal Fury that could all change, and it's Kingdom who are coming back into this in the mid-game, and to be fair, their composition is all about the mid-game here.
Vamana 2 levels ahead currently with Frostbound Hammer, and the Ravana has to be careful without having that tier 1 solo lane tower. He can't really escape without having to maybe use his ultimate through a wall. Wolves will do more damage at this stage than the Ravana will.
Well, build's starting to come online. You can see both mid laners there have the boots online as long as the Legion Helm. However, we do see a Winged Blade coming out from Clow here. A little bit worried about the slows coming out here. He wants that extra mobility, and I think it paid off for him in that last little engagement if you noticed it.
You also want to position yourself to follow up off of Mad Koiz's dash taunt, so that mobility is going to help you out, as well as trying to escape the aggressiveness coming out of the Ravana at the later stages of the game. You can always kite around your own ultimate also. We saw in that last encounter, the Clow was able to survive for so long under his own ultimate.
And that because of the defense he's got there, the extra health from the Winged Blade as well. And he's also got that sprint online now as well. That sprint will come in handy for just keeping him duking around as well as make his team a little bit more mobile. Kingdom grouped up on the left here with the Gold Fury about to spawn in about 1.5 time, I want to say. So just keeping on the wall placements coming down from both teams as it's aggression for Transonics. He's been surrounded again.
He's going to take a lot of poke from the Susano, forced to use the rewind. The Janus ulti was used as well as the Athena, and now the fight is on.
The fight is on, but it's still only 2 members. Clow is now coming around the corner to support, but can he get the flanking option? Taunt is still down from Koiz, and Transonics left alone. Ends up going down, but Clow, amongst 3, has to give some respect, because if he doesn't, he will go down too. Knock-up is good, and that should secure the kill, unless he can juke through the minions in time. Anhur going deep for this one. Needs just the one in hand. Sanctuaries to take some tower shots, and Small gets it, but Koiz going to taunt them under the tower, but they can just juggle aggro here. Kingdom coming up big. However, Thor crashing down finally from across the other side of the map, turns up and picks up Reacher. Now they're looking for more, because guess what? Wolves has arrived as well.
Wolves forcing out the Sanctuary out of TsmaII. Great defensive ability. Going to be able to barely escape with that Jetstream, relying on his passive mobility to get away from this Vamana, but the abilities are online, and that's going to secure the kill onto TsmaII. So far, it's been a 2-for-2 exchange, and with that, it looks like Most Wanted still want some more.
Koiz still going aggressive. He's got walls inside his shot, cutting off the option, and now Despair under a lot of pressure has to leap away. Ravana still in the face, and Koiz eating a lot of free poke here. Going to have to dissuade the argument there after Tom being down. Wolves surrounded, still has his ultimate available though, so he's not scared to pop the big baby. And now it's Janus that's got to run away. Catalyyyst trying to get as far away as possible, but not being allowed to. He'll be picked up by xCynosurex, and now Ravana, well, he's not going to be able to fight these 2 alone.
Great recognition by Wolves, the fact that the through space and time was down, the portals was down, utilizing the Frostbound Hammer to his advantage. There was nowhere for this Janus to go, and with that, Most Wanted is going to force out the Gold Fury with Catalyyyst still being dead currently. It's going to be a 5-on-4, and with a Thor while trying to zone.
Geb to the rescue, Blink Cataclysm going off there. Still, the Gold Fury is alive at the moment. It looks like they're trying to secure this one, but it goes the way of Most Wanted as Transonics picks up Reacher, and now they're looking for Anhur as well.
And Despair barely able to jump away through the wall. Thor's going to land down, securing the kill with the Zeus ultimate, and it looks like the Ravana's going to be forced to use his ultimate. So not only getting the Gold Fury, but finding 2 kills shortly after. Most Wanted extending their goalie to about 6,000.
Transonics coming around the back now looking for Ravana. Will they pick him up? They will. Niqued goes down as well. The stun does connect, and actually Clow doesn't even need the stun from Transonics to detonate that much health off of Catalyyyst. The tier 2 tower under threat, and there's not a lot TsmaII can do on his own, so the tier 2 will fall after the Gold Fury as well.
Just hitting all their abilities. Beautiful mechanical play out of of Most Wanted, hitting the long distance time stop, the Zeus detonate as well, synergizing very well, just finding the kill exactly the way they needed to, as well as picking up the tier 2 tower, extending the lead so heavily. They were only up about 4,000 to 5,000 earlier on, and now Most Wanted is up 8,000.
So 3 members of Most Wanted on the left-hand side going to look towards the tier 2, or maybe back, and that's the option. Meanwhile, the other 2 members, they're going to strip the speed and the blue. Full use of the map and just exploiting the opportunity they had to get as much as they could out of the jungle of Kingdom and just leave them nothing to farm.
Kingdom had a better showing this game than the last, I would say. In the beginning stages, being able to hold off the aggression from Most Wanted, finding the return kills, but they weren't able to find any real objectives shortly after. They did find that one Gold Fury, but it was really early on, and it didn't benefit Kingdom that much. They weren't able to respond with any tier 1 towers or any buff invades, which would strip away some of the experience from Most Wanted.
I do like the look of Despair on this Anhur, though. Even though they've been struggling here, Despair looked really good today, especially on this Anhur play through the game. Desert Fury's on point, good rotations. Obelisks seem to be very good.
Great rotations.
Great rotations, to be fair. And then the Desert Fury's through the walls to find kills that were going to elude the side of Kingdom here. Just finding it. He finds himself at 5, 1, and 3, even though he's at a deficit at the moment for his team.
That could be the one saving grace for Kingdom, as long as they're able to hold on to this tier 2 tower. But it looks like there's not many people in position to defend this. Koiz going to tank the tower Sinister using his hammer to teleport in, and tier 2 tower going to fall.
And there's a through space and time. It's the first time I've actually said the name of that ability because it was close to being important there, but Koiz goes in, gets a taunt. Meanwhile on the back, Ravana doing what he can to poke them down, but he's alone, forced to ult back towards his team. Meanwhile, Wolves going to keep the rest of Kingdom at bay, keeping the damage dealers away. Still Niqued being weakened down now, left alone. Geb can only do so much to protect a great Cataclysm, a great unstable Vortex, but it's still enough for a kill. T-Pain though, going to do what he can. T-Small, I should say, not T-Pain. Still trying to do what he can to find it, but xCynosurex picks up Reacher, and slowly but surely the members of Kingdom are just falling one by one.
One by one. Now with a third kill as well, that's going to favor Most Wanted to be able to get this left side Phoenix no problem. And with the Vamana being able to fall onto the Athena ultimate onto Catalyyyst, this Phoenix is going to fall at the 20-minute mark without any Fire Giant for Most Wanted.
That could even be game if they so chose it, especially with the respawn times, but instead they'll rather take the Phoenixes. And no, they don't even need the Phoenixes. Kingdom Esports is saying, no, we've had enough of this game. You have beaten us one more time. Kingdom 2-0.
Very great play coming out of Most Wanted, winning the first game in 28 minutes, and then even though they came off into a slightly slower start the second game, they just found the rotations and the plays, and that's going to extend their lead currently to first seed still at 12-2.
12-2, so they do have that 3-game lead over Eager and a few more over Saw there. Eager still to play today as well. They've got to face off against Elevate, and Elevate, well, they could upset them a little bit. We'll see how that one goes. But go back to this game for me. Game 1, Most Wanted. Look good. No real issues in that game, I want to say. We saw Kingdom come out with a game plan, and in the end of the day, it wasn't even their game plan to have. It was all Most Wanted.
Most Wanted was the ones that were being very aggressive, and it was up to Kingdom to find the return objective steals. They found the picks that just couldn't find the objectives to try to cut the lead that Most Wanted established for themselves.
And Clow had 2 pretty good games for himself in that last set. Obviously, played the Zeus in the game 2. Game 1, didn't have any real issues in the Raijin either. Just set his team up over and over again.
Just the patience, utilizing that ultimate after the Khepri faded away, finding the kills, and still being aggressive despite getting Nemesis ultimate. It's just like no fear out of Cloud. It did hurt him at that one stage in the later game, but it didn't matter because Most Wanted found 3 return kills anyway.
Yeah, and the Zeus ults coming through as well. The Raijin got up to a flying start, but Cloud, in that second game, he got caught out a couple of times where he got a little bit aggressive than the Raijin later on. That game, he was more aware of it and had to juke around a lot more and allow his team to get themselves in position to secure it. But just good free pickups.
Utilizing the Athena to his advantage, allowing the Athena to be the one to be aggressive, not having to be the aggressor as a Raijin, just a Zeus just following up off of all the pressure.
Well, we do have xCynosurex on the line as well from Most Wanted, the jungler there who played the 4 last game. xCynosurex, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. So, good 2-0 for you today, gets you back to winning ways. The last 2 times we've seen you guys play, you've just managed to find splits. What's the difference? Is it just the opposition, or, have you managed to fix things where you were, having issues?
Well, against Eager, they're a great team, and the first game we didn't come out as good as we are. Then against the Soar game, we got a little cocky after the first game, and especially after the lead we got in the second game, that we learned from it, and that'll never happen again.
So you're currently sitting at 12-2. If you win one more game and Soar, I believe, loses 3, then you're going to be secured into the LAN specifically. How are you going to be preparing for these next upcoming games?
We've been scrimming a lot recently, and Cloud's been coming up with some secret strats against Eager, so we're pretty excited for the set.
Are they going to be? Are you going to mix up roles or something like that, or play weird Django? He's going to play Hades mid. Is that what Cloud's going to do? Is that the plan?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, I was excited to see Hades from Cloud again because he dies for first blood a lot on that, from what I remember. Anyway, with you in the Pro League now, SCL, how's the team chemistry going? I mean, who's the shot caller for this team? Because when I look at this team, I see a lot of heavy mechanics, but it looks like now and again in some of the games, it looks like you guys get a little bit lost on who's shot caller. Do you have an actual shot caller?
Yeah, it's mostly Cloud, but I chime in every now and then. Trans and Wolves just focus on their mechanics, so it's really just me, Cloud, and Matt talking in comms.
Awesome. Well, you've had a very good performance today for yourselves on Most Wanted. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, shoutouts to Most Wanted. They treat us great. Shoutouts to Azio Corporation, and shoutouts to Clow, who streams at twitch.tv/Clow with 3 Ws.
Look at him setting up his boy there. Thanks for
3,
just to be clear. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. Good luck in the rest of the Pro League, and maybe you'll be the #1 seed coming out of North America in the TsmaII Console League. But that's not it for today. We do have 2 more sets to bring you, and we'll be back with those after this short break.